Now, I've done a lot of personal development therapy workshops, growth over the time. I've gone to workshops, I've gone to seminars, and I've just gone and seen individual gurus and therapists and that sort of stuff. And what used to frustrate me, I'd go and do all this work, and I would work pretty hard and spend money on it, and I really couldn't see a result from a lot of the time. I just couldn't see the result. And I used to think, I must be stupid. There must be something wrong with me because I'm not seeing the result. And I know in these workshops or in these seminars, you'd see people ooh-ahhing and saying how wonderful it was. Sure, it was great. I had a good time, met a lot of good people. But didn't cut it because when I got home, I was the same person I was. Started back about over 30 years ago now, when I separated and divorced, and I was a marriage guidance counsellor. And here I was, being hypocritical, I think. I'm a marriage guidance counsellor, I'm supposed to be helping people stay together, yet I can't stay together myself. What's going wrong here? And I had all the knowledge in the world because I'd done a lot of reading about it. I had access to some very, very highly skilled marriage guidance therapists, counsellors. Still, none of that could help me. I went ahead, got separated and divorced, and it was painful. It was awful. It was destructive. Didn't do the kids any good. No way in the world. But I still kept going ahead with it. Anyway, then I went and got married to Annie, who I'm still married to now. That was about 30 years ago now. I got married to Annie, and after about 3 or 4 years, we found ourselves in the same position. She is separated and divorced, I'm separated and divorced, and we're going there again. How do you stop this? You see, the statistics at the time were 50% of all marriages get separated and divorced, and 75% of all divorcees end up by getting divorced again. And you know what? After many, many years of research and looking at things and coming up with some wonderful theories, the statistics are about the same. Not much has changed. And but it's certainly changed for Annie and I, because we're happily married, we're going to stay married, and we have a secret. And the secret is, no matter what gets thrown up at us, no matter what we come up against, we can deal with it because we've got the strategies. We have some strategies which work for us. And I now share these with people, because with the strategies which work for you, just about anything in the world can be dealt with. See, relationships are tools. I looked at store to start when I looked at the relationship between Annie and I thought, this is a perfect reflection of how stuffed up we both are. Because at the end of the day, it's for Annie, the relationship was about her and all her problems. For me, it was about me and all my problems. And we were triggering each other. And all my problems only come up with her because, intimacy. We were intimate. Into me you see. Into me I see. And I didn't like what I saw in there, so I'd get back and have a go at Annie about that, because she was causing it, wasn't she? And she was doing the same. But when I realised it wasn't about her, it was about me, she was bringing this up. I had to deal with it. And sure, and I'd bring up stuff her. She had to deal with it, and we could help each other do it. And we still do that today. Does that mean it's all pleasant? No. Do we have problems? Yes. Do we like the problems? No, we hate them. But every time we deal with one, we become stronger and better than we've ever been. So from heading down towards divorce, now 30 years later, we're in this forever. We're not going anywhere. We're going forward, but we are not leaving each other ever. And we've had our share of difficulties, and we've had share of problems to have to deal with, but we deal with them because we are together. And being together is pretty good, because it means that we become better and better versions of ourselves. Why? Because the stuff we've got to deal with, we wouldn't have to deal with it otherwise. But the stuff we deal with, what Annie sees in me, what I see in her, we hate it. So we deal with it. And we've got better and better in dealing with bigger and bigger problems. And it's getting easier and easier. And this is our style of happily ever after, because we're going forward. We like the happily ever after. We like going forward. We use our problems to guide us. We have strategies, but in our strategies, the big thing is that we are spiritual. We look at ourselves, look at the spirit of who we are. I look inside me, and he looks inside herself. We help each other look inside each other. And we get intuitive. When things are really down, we don't go into what we know. We don't go into blame and stuff like that. Do we do that? Yes, we can, when we're not thinking. But when things are going bad, we stop doing that and we go in to our own selves, into our spirit, because in there are the answers. See, we've found that if we go into our spirit and get down there, we can go very, very deep down and we get to the absolute source of the difficulty. And that source is something which happened way, way, way before Annie and I ever met. And see, what we find now is that relationships aren't about relationships. Relationship problems are not about relationship problems. Our relationship is just a tool. It's what we used to help each other grow and develop and become better people of who we are. And we keep up with each other so we can help each other at a greater and greater level, deeper and deeper, getting more and more into ourselves. That's what we do. And that's how it works. And what I've looked at, and I've been working this relation in this stuff a lot, just about everybody has the same problems. But the ones that can't deal with it are the ones that have lousy strategies like blame, like violence, like withdrawal, like walking away, like not wanting to deal with it, like going and having affairs and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, we know all about that stuff, and I understand why people do all that. Because it seems easier at the time, but it's not. It's what really knocks you around. And I see some people living unhappily ever after only because, not because of the difficulties they've got, because they're not dealing with them because they don't have the strategies. Get the strategies, but be spiritual. Follow your intuitions. Yeah, I know, that sounds pretty hard. But it's really, really easy once you know how, but until you know how, it's hard because we've been taught not to do it. We've been taught that what we know and what we can see and what we hear and all the rest of it, that's all that matters. Get rid of the emotions, don't worry about the intuitions, they're just a distraction. Well, I say the opposite. I say what's happening here on earth is the distraction, because really it's all going on deep within us spiritually. And when we start to understand that, when we start to work with our emotion and work with our intuition, that's when we can really kick ass. And our outside life then reflects it. It's the other way around, So I found that and I think this is the missing link, by the way, because no one else does this. And I look at all these gurus talking about, no one else talks about it spiritually. They all talk about staying within the realm of what you know, and all this. There's some great theories around marriage and everything, and how you should change that, and all the theories about what you should say and what you shouldn't say, how you should feel respectful and should feel loving, and how you should feel this. Well, that's crap. Here's the point. This is why spirit works. Relationships are not emotional. They're not physical. They're not logical. They are spiritual. They are spiritual things. Just think of the first time you met the love of your life. No reason for it. Lots of other girls around, and all of a sudden, or lots of other boys around, or lots of other people around, and all of a sudden this one person stands out for you. That's the one you want. There's a reason. I don't know what the reason is. All I know is that when you get it, you feel it, and you go with the feeling. And I find when I go with the feeling, life gets better. When I don't go with the feeling, life becomes more of a struggle. And when I'm struggling, I know I'm not going with my intuitive feeling, so therefore I sit there and I do what I have to do. I've got strategies, and I go and get in touch with my intuitions, use my intuitions to get in touch with the inner me, get to the source of what the problem is, and whammo, deal with that. And then I've got it. Sounds easy? Yeah, it is. Once you know how. If you don't know how, you'll find yourself resisting it and not wanting to go there and getting worse and worse. And see, the longer you don't deal with something, the bigger it gets. And if you've got a big problem in your life, I'll guarantee it started small, but you weren't able to deal with it. Okay, so that's what I'm all about. Get the strategies, deal with it, but you've got to go outside the box. You can't stay with what you know, because every answer you're looking for, it's in the things you know but don't know about yourself. Let's put that right. Now, there's a whole heap of stuff there that you know, but you don't know you know. That's where the answers are. In you. It's all about you. Go into yourself. Go past what you know into what you don't know and allow that to do its work. Once you get used to it, it works. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again, because I've got a message here and I want to get it out. And there's a way of working with this stuff. There's a way of doing it, and if you can do it, then I reckon the divorce rate, instead of being 50%, maybe should be around about 10% at the most. See, I think most people break up in their relationships. Most people break down. They don't have to. They only break down. They only break up because they don't have the right strategy. Give the person the right strategy. They're going ahead. I don't care what your problem is. If you're dealing with and going ahead, you're not going to break down. That's a pretty simple way of putting it. I am simple. I keep it simple. And I'll keep it simple now. So, see you next time.